We didn't get any scores correct in the Championship last weekend, but we don't care about that. A big announcement: I've hit another milestone, 500 subscribers, and I couldn't do it without any of you interacting with my channel. So thank you very much to everyone liking, subscribing and getting involved. The Tony Mowbray announcement video got quite a lot of reception compared to what I'm used to, so I was very glad to see that. I'm glad to see that a lot of you enjoyed it and were getting involved in the comments. And let's just keep pushing and see how close to 1,000 we can get. If we could reach it, it would be brilliant, but I'm not shooting too high at the moment because it is a long grind. But thank you very much to everyone who got involved. This weekend there's 3 new managers in the league at Blues, Swansea and Plymouth, and the first 2 are playing each other, so it could be a very interesting weekend. Let's get into my predictions. We start off with Hull against Norwich on Friday night. I think it's safe to say that the top 4 will be staying where they are. That's not to say they can't switch with each other, but I think those 4 clubs will be the top 4 by the end of the season, which means there's 2 spots up for grabs in my eyes, and if Hull weren't one of the favourites to get there, I think they should be now. Brilliant loan signing of Fabio Carvalho. That is very good, because 2 or 3 years ago when he was at Fulham in the Championship, he got into the team of the year. He had a brilliant season, and then he got his big move to Liverpool, so he's already done it at this level and he's developed even more now. So I am a bit worried that Hull may start going on a bit of a rampage, because to me, after what he did at Fulham, he's a player that should not be playing at Championship level. He should be in the Premier League. But Hull do need a bit of a pick-me-up. They have lost 3 of their last 4. They lost last time out to Sheffield Wednesday, so not in the greatest of form, but they're still 7th in the league, and Norwich haven't won in 3. That's why I'm going to go Hull to edge it 2-1. 2 teams in great form next: Coventry against Leicester. And Coventry really came out of nowhere because they were struggling in the league this season, but 7 unbeaten, 3 wins out of 4, and they're not far off the playoffs now. So they are kind of getting to the heights they had last season, where they got all the way to that playoff final. They're now looking like they could get into the playoffs again. Very strong from Coventry, but it's a tough ask because Leicester, top of the league, 10 points clear of second place, and they're 10 unbeaten. They just don't stop, very relentless. So although there's a slight chance I think Coventry could win this, that's not the way I'm going to go, because Leicester, very hard to beat. So I'm going to go and give quite a lot of respect to Coventry with a 1-1 draw. Blues take on Swansea. Tony Mowbray against Luke Williams, both new to their clubs. It's going to be interesting. Williams, it's his first time managing in the Championship after leaving Notts County. And Tony Mowbray, well, he was here not so long ago with Sunderland. This is a difficult one because obviously Blues were in a massive blip under Rooney. 2 wins in 15, the worst form out of anyone in the league since Rooney was in charge. But I'm hoping it was just a blip, because the players showed beforehand they have enough quality to compete in this league. Obviously we're in the playoffs. I don't think that was an accurate representation. It was a lot of late winners, and we did have a hard run of games coming up that probably would have knocked us down a few places, but we're not a 20th place team. We have been in previous seasons, but this squad is much better than that. So I'm hoping now Tony Mowbray can guide us towards mid-table, but it'll be tough because Swansea, some decent results: a draw against Coventry, who are in brilliant form, a win against West Brom, who are obviously in the playoffs. Maybe a step too far to win. I don't think Blues will lose this. It looks like a draw, but I am going to go optimistic, positive. Let's hope for some great football and a 2-1 win to Blues. Cardiff v Leeds. Now, I couldn't believe that Cardiff are ninth in the table because they're very inconsistent, and I don't really think they're too great this season, but I guess they must be doing something right. I know it's very tight, but ninth is very good for Cardiff. Leeds, not the greatest of form. Yes, they're in the playoffs, but they've lost their last 3 league away games in a row. Surprising, but I think it ends here. They can't lose again away, surely, so I'm going to go for a 3-1 win to Leeds. Huddersfield take on Plymouth, and this is a big one in the relegation battle. Neither side are in the relegation zone, but they are both in and around. And for Huddersfield in particular, they have got Sheffield Wednesday hot on their tails. They looked dead and buried early on, but brilliant job from Danny Roll has now got Sheffield Wednesday only 3 points from safety. And Darren Moore will be slightly worried that if he is to lose this game, I've got a feeling he may get the chop, because 1 win in 8 isn't good enough, and Huddersfield are looking like a team destined for relegation. Plymouth, they've been doing okay recently, but they are very poor away. One of only 2 sides with Rotherham not to win an away game all season. 5 draws, 8 losses away, so, obviously 5 points isn't good from 13 games, but they don't lose. It's not like they lose all of them. They nick points here and there. I do think that this could be Plymouth's first away win of the season, so I'm going to go 1-0 to Plymouth. Millwall take on Middlesbrough. Millwall, they weren't doing too well. They looked like they were sleepwalking down the table, but 5 unbeaten, 3 wins in a row, 4 clean sheets in a row. Very good form from Millwall now, and you've got to be looking up the table because it is very tight. If they can keep getting these little wins, they're going to shoot straight up towards the playoff places. Now, I know Millwall under Rowett were finishing just outside there, and they've had an awful start to this season, but as Coventry showed, as Middlesbrough have shown as well, you don't really have to start well, you just have to finish well, and Coventry look like they're doing that. They're putting a run together. Middlesbrough did go on a run, and then they've slipped up a bit recently. They've become a bit inconsistent. If only they could perform how they did in the EFL Cup semi-final with that 1-0 win over Chelsea in the first leg. If they could perform like that every week, they'd be right up there. But this looks like a tight game. I'm not sure which way to go, which is why I will go for a 1-1 draw. Preston against Bristol City. Now, Preston will be very thankful for that brilliant start they had to the season where they kept winning, because if they had an average start, I think they'd be in or around the relegation zone right now. They're in very poor form, very inconsistent, picking up a win every now and again. It's not looking great at Preston, and there seems to be a bit of tension with the manager and everyone else. So, interesting to see how that develops. Bristol City, they have been in decent form recently. They did lose last time out to Millwall, but I think Bristol City are in better form, better momentum, and they just seem to have a better group at the moment. Everyone's together. So I think Bristol City will win this 1-0. Rotherham face Stoke, and 1 win in 14 is always going to have you sitting in the relegation zone, which is why Rotherham find themselves bottom, but they're not out of sight yet. They're not far off safety. If they can just string a few wins together, I know they're awful away. They haven't won away all season, only drawn 2 away as well. But if they can win a few games at home, they can see themselves start to climb. It just doesn't look very positive at the moment. Stoke, unbeaten in 6, but 5 of those are draws, so 8 points in 6 games. They're not really capitalising on the fact they're not losing because they can't find that decisive goal. But under Schumacher, things do seem to be getting better, as they are now hard to beat. They do just need to work on being clinical and taking that chance to win a game. So Stoke going in a bit of a better direction, but I think Rotherham at home, I do fancy them for something, so I'll go 1-1. Southampton against Sheffield Wednesday. I remember this being the season opener and Southampton getting all 3 points. Will they do the same again? Well, the form would definitely be with them. 18 unbeaten, 4 wins in their last 5. They are on a roll and they look like they're gunning down Ipswich for that second place spot. But Sheffield Wednesday, under Danny Roll, they are starting to put together this brilliant revival. 5 wins in their last 8 games. They're coming alive and they're now only 3 points from safety. Safety didn't look possible when Xisco Munoz was fired, but they're finally getting together. And to be honest, I think they may get themselves to safety because Danny Roll is doing a fantastic job. That being said, is this too much of a step up because Southampton are great? I don't know. I've got a feeling this could be the shocker. Not a win, but I think Sheffield Wednesday can get a point here. So I'm going to go 2-2. West Brom face Blackburn. West Brom just over 2 points per game in their home games this season with 27 points from 13 games. That's why they're sitting in the playoffs, because they're not bad away either, although recently there have been a few slip-ups. Blackburn, no wins in 5, losing 4 of those. I've got a feeling this should be pretty straightforward, although nothing ever is in this league. West Brom to win 2-0. Ipswich face Sunderland in a crucial clash because Ipswich, no wins in 5, 4 of those being draws and a heavy 4-0 defeat to Leeds. It's not looking great now. After a brilliant start, they're only 3 points ahead of Southampton in 3rd. And I know no Ipswich fan in their wildest dreams would have expected this season, but when you've got it and you're in such a great position, it's so difficult to say, oh, it's okay, we weren't expecting it, if you are to give it away. Expectations change throughout a season, and I think a lot of Ipswich fans after their brilliant start would have hoped that they could hold on. But to be honest, with the rate that Southampton are winning games, it is looking now like Ipswich will have to settle for the playoffs. But they are in the driving seat. If they win every game from now, they get top 2. So it's in their hands, but it's tough. Sunderland under Mick Beale are looking interesting. I think they seem to be getting a bit better game on game, and I think this will really become better as time goes on. I do think there's going to be goals in this. There always tends to be when Ipswich play at home. So I'm going to go for a 3-2 win. Very important for Ipswich. QPR v Watford is our final game. And QPR, after 3 wins in a row, have now only picked up 2 points from their last 6 games. So not great form they're showing. Watford, they're still in the playoff race, but it's dropped off a bit. No wins in 3. I think the most likely is Watford, and that's why I'm going to go for them to win 2-1. So those are my predictions for this round of Championship fixtures. Hopefully it's an entertaining weekend. Make sure to like and subscribe and get your predictions down in the comments. And up Tony Mowbray's Birmingham City.